The Will You Grow Show goes live Sundays 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern. To receive notifications, click the subscribe button beneath this video, or visit YouTube's Will You Grow channel to see more shows and videos. And now, here's Will You founder Angelique Medow with this week's Will You Grow Show.
Good morning and welcome to the Will You Grow Show. I'm Angelique and I'm here to ignite your inner courage to release yourself from limitations. I'm the founder of Will You and WillYouGrow.com, an inspirational multimedia company that provides personal growth and joy through education, conversations, and adventures like the one we're on today. We're not in the studio. We are here in Tennessee today. We are going to be back in studio not this week, not next week, but the following week to join up with Ben and Neil, our videographer, and we are going to have so much fun getting back in touch with them and finding out what they've been doing over the last few weeks and how they've been growing personally. But until then, I wanted to come to you from nature here in Tennessee to talk about 2 ways that you can learn to grow personally through nature. Personal growth through nature can be done through 2 easy ways, and we'll be talking about those here today. So tip number one to grow personally through nature: observe. Tip number 1 is to observe. So what does that mean, to observe? To observe means to take a look, to notice what you notice, so to speak. Here's some of the gorgeous, gorgeous water that I'm sitting in front of. You can notice that we just heard a fish jump. Notice a bird that just flew by. We can notice the little rings on the water from where the insects are moving. We can notice the foliage, beautiful greens, and the tiny little berries and flowers that are on it. We can notice the landscape. We can notice all the beautiful trees and the smoke of the Smoky Mountains in the background. We can notice all the different colors of green. We can notice the rocks. We can notice the fish jumping, and if you can see that far. And more in depth, we can notice all that movement there underneath the stillness of the water. We can notice the colors, the shapes. We can notice the rocks. We can notice the reflections. We can notice that water is a beautiful liquid that is easily affected by different things. Whether you put a toe in the water, like I will right now. Oh, it's nice. I'll have to go in swimming this week. You can notice how the water is affected by just a little touch. Noticing what we noticed, there were a lot of depths there. Now, not everybody has the ability at this point in their life to notice all of those depths. If we're more focused on the caffeination of our drink to help to make us awake, if we're more noticing the sweetness of whatever donut that we happen to be eating at the moment to get us to awaken our taste buds, if we're noticing that we're bored and we need to be able to fill ourselves with some video distraction or another video game, or if we're scrolling while we're also watching my video, these are tips to us that we are not able to observe deeply. We're not really able to take it all in. That we have to have lots and lots of things feeding onto us in order for us to stay awake mentally, stay aware, and have the ability to observe. However, when we do that, we're not able to see the depths. So someone who needs a lot of stimulation like that might look out into nature and say, nothing's happening. As a matter of fact, I knew a man who had a doctorate and who was also a psychologist who said that exact same thing. That he had several addictions, and was unable to observe the depths of not only what was going on outside, but also what was going on inside. So there was step number one, observation. Observation of nature helps us to grow personally, and that's the topic of today's show, how to grow personally through nature. So step one, observe. Observe what's happening outside. Start with the very surface things, the nature of the colors and the sounds, all of the senses that we have, the taste, touch, sight, smell, and then go deeper and recognize what else is happening out there in nature. Then personal growth through nature. Step number two is to turn to observe the nature here. What about this nature? What about this nature? What about the landscape? The shape of the shoulder and the arm and the head, the landscape. What about the colors of the trees? The skin, that's just different colors. The colors of the eyes, the shape of the eyebrow, nose, the nose that came from my family lineage. It's hanging here on my face, as the spiritual teacher Sadhguru says. We don't recognize our grandmother, great-great-great-grandmother maybe, because we never met her, but her nose is hanging on our face. We can observe that through photographs and through observing ourselves on the outside. And then we can take that deeper. We can start to notice what's beneath this surface. What's beneath the surface? What am I thinking? Am I thinking critical thoughts? Am I thinking happy thoughts? Am I thinking work thoughts? Am I thinking, what am I thinking? Learning to observe our thoughts is important, because then we can recognize which ones we want to keep and which ones we want to let go of, and why. We could also observe, how do I feel? How do I feel? And good is not enough of an answer. It can be if we want to just stay surface, but that's not personal growth. If we're good, yeah, that sums it up in a nice little button, but it doesn't connect us more deeply to ourself. It doesn't help us to learn or grow personally about ourself. Good is just a pat answer that works for the time being. It's like looking out at the nature and saying, it's pretty, but not noticing any of the details about what makes it pretty to us. That helps us to connect to nature when we can recognize and connect with those different parts that we enjoy so much. So when we turn back to observe ourselves, we can observe, how do I feel? Maybe I feel, for example, in this situation, I feel like my feet are a little cold because they're without socks on this rock, but it also feels cool and inviting to feel the little moss on them. That's how I feel physically. I feel like I could be breathing a little more deeply, which I'll do right now. So I noticed that my breathing was a little shallow, and I made my breathing deeper, and it feels much better. I notice that I feel happy to be able to do work that is out in nature. I feel happy to be able to connect with you. I feel like it's meaningful that I can connect with you by sharing these tips about connection to personal growth in nature that I know and implement myself. Because there are lots of ways a person can learn personal growth. Doesn't matter if you observe anything, because it's all life and you can learn from it. But observing through nature is free. It's free and it's easy, and it's entertaining if you allow it to be. So that's why since it's meaningful to me, I'm sharing it also with you, so that you may allow yourself to find meaning and personal growth and truth in it for you as well. So what else can I notice? I notice that I am feeling a little bit of an emptiness in my stomach, which does not feel like a bad thing. It does not feel hungry. It just feels like it is open, empty, processing whatever it needs to from last night's meal. Feels satisfied. I feel like I can feel the energy coming up from the bottoms of my feet, from Mother Earth. I can feel little tinglies. This is very, very subtle, the levels of observation and feeling. Ooh, there's a beautiful turtle. When you notice the turtle, you can notice just the head coming up above water, and you can notice the nose, and you can think that's all there is. That's like noticing the face, the smile or not, and not noticing that there's an entire body of physical elements as well as emotions and thoughts and other body somatic feelings, like the ability to feel the energy coming up from the earth that come underneath that. So are we going to notice just the head of the turtle, or are we going to notice that there's a shell underneath the water? Are we going to notice that there are little feet moving underneath the water? Are we going to notice that it has an entire existence underneath the water? Just like within ourselves, are we observing that there's a lot going on in here? Just by observing ourselves, we might recognize that we need to go to the doctor. We might need to recognize what's off. So many of us who are cut off from our ability to feel don't recognize when we're about to have a heart attack. We don't recognize when we're having problems with our blood flow. We don't recognize when there's a problem with our organs or our heart. We don't recognize because we're out of touch with our feelings. However, by observing nature on the outside and nature on the inside, our powers of observation can help us to grow personally so that we know what's happening within us, and so we can take better care and love ourselves. So learning to observe in nature is something that does not always come naturally to us. We may not have been taught how to do this, and it's important to bring that power of nature into our everyday, because nature can heal us. It has powers through earthing, through having our soles of feet on the ground, and being able to have our time out in forest, bathing out in nature. All of these healing capacities only happen when we're out in nature and observing nature. Now, I recognize not everybody can do that regularly, or has not learned to, or does not know the benefits of it yet. So we have a Will You Adventure channel. On this Will You Adventure channel, we are going to be bringing you 1-minute nature segments. No talking, just time for you to connect with nature. These are all video observations that I personally make and take of me out in nature, things that show themselves to me, or things that I observe that I feel that are meaningful, that you could also derive meaning from, and help you to observe not only outer nature, but observing yourself. So I highly encourage you to subscribe and view the Will You Adventure channel. We will have a link for that below in the description box, so you can click and see those 1-minute nature adventures, and we're going to be publishing those at noon every day, so you'll be able to see a little bit of nature into your life and world every day, even if it's a minute while you're taking your lunch break. Also, you can join us for a personal, customized session to learn how to connect more deeply with nature by talking with me directly, to have a more one-on-one opportunity to learn about connection and how to disconnect from the things that are actually keeping you from your connection to nature and yourself. And if you'd like to have a little group opportunity to get out in nature together, I'm going to be out at Ancient Lore Village here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Every Thursday, I'll be leading a group at 10:30. You meet with us out at Ancient Lore Village, one of Knoxville's most exclusive luxury event venues and nature center. So you can meet me out at 10:30, and then we'll head off on our nature tour while I take you on a walk through the forest. I was out there this last week and saw a beautiful fox den and 3 little baby foxes that we'll be able to show you in a little video here in a second. And I'll teach you how to connect and earth with nature. I'll teach you how to take a little 3-minute meditation where you can connect your heart and mind to increase feelings of inner peace that can chemically last within your body, those feelings of peace, for up to 6 hours during your day. I highly recommend that you join us, whether it's for a personal session or to join us in a group out at Ancient Lore Village on Thursdays, June through August. That'll also include a picnic lunch. It's $54, and you just meet me out at 10:30, and it lasts until about 1 o'clock. So I would love to be able to meet you in person and live out there at Ancient Lore Village, and connect with me anytime. Thank you so much for watching today and connecting with yourself and connecting with nature. So for today, I'll send you off always with love from Angelique.
Do you wish you could enjoy a little more time with the pleasantness of Mother Nature? Every day at noon Eastern Time on our Will You Adventure channel, we have 1-minute videos of nature's goodness as seen through the eyes of Angelique. Be refreshed, revitalized, and restart every afternoon with the grounded, centered perspective of nature's joy and abundance. To receive your free inspirational videos, go to the description box, click the link for the Will You Adventure channel, and hit the subscribe button. It's free, and we'll see you there. For more information about programs offered by Will You, mentoring with Angelique, and to watch video success stories from clients, explore willyougrow.com. If you or your company are interested in inspiring our mutual audience by sponsoring this or another of our programs, let's talk about it. Boost viewer confidence and trust in your company. Call 1-833-WILL-YOU, then press extension number 6. Make sure to click the subscribe button to get reminders before upcoming shows.